The year was 2004. A woman appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Her name was Sarah Miller. She had been missing for 2 decades. Her reappearance was deeply perplexing. Authorities were alerted immediately. Sarah Miller looked exactly as she did 20 years prior. She was 25 years old when she vanished. Now, found again, she still appeared to be 25. There were no visible signs of aging. Her clothes were outdated, but her body was not. How could a person not age for 2 decades? She was discovered on the outskirts of Oakhaven. This was the same small town she had disappeared from. 2 hikers stumbled upon her. She was disoriented but physically unharmed. She carried no identification from the current era. The local sheriff recognized her face from old photographs. The resemblance was uncanny, too perfect. This was not a simple case of a missing person found. It was the beginning of an extraordinary investigation. Sarah Miller was a vibrant young woman in 1984. She worked as a librarian in Oakhaven, Oregon. She enjoyed hiking in the nearby forests. Friends described her as curious and kind. She had plans for her future. Her life was ordinary, yet full of promise. No one suspected the strange turn it would take. On October 12, 1984, Sarah went for a hike. She told her roommate her intended route. It was a familiar trail in the Cascade foothills. She never returned that evening. Her car was found parked at the trailhead. Her hiking gear was gone. This suggested she had started her trek as planned. An extensive search operation commenced almost immediately. Search teams scoured the area for weeks. Volunteers from Oakhaven joined professional rescuers. No trace of Sarah was ever found. There were no signs of an accident. There was no evidence of foul play. It was as if she had vanished into thin air. Then, on October 12, 2004, she returned. Exactly 20 years to the day. She was wearing the same hiking clothes she had on in 1984. As Sarah Miller was immediately taken for medical evaluation. Doctors were initially skeptical of the claims. They expected to find a logical explanation. Perhaps it was a case of mistaken identity, or maybe a person with a rare medical condition. However, initial examinations were startling. Her physical appearance matched her 1984 records perfectly. Her skin was smooth, her hair showed no gray, her eyes were bright and youthful. A battery of sophisticated tests was conducted. These included full-body scans and detailed blood work. Her DNA was extracted and analyzed. It was compared to samples from her parents. The match was conclusive. This was Sarah Miller. Crucially, markers of cellular aging were examined. Telomere length, often associated with aging, was consistent. It matched that of a healthy 25-year-old. Her internal organs showed no signs of deterioration. The medical reports were unanimous. Biologically, Sarah Miller was still 25 years old. She had not aged a single day in 20 years. This finding defied all known medical science. Human aging is a complex, multifactorial process. There is no known biological mechanism that could account for such a complete cessation of aging. Sarah Miller's memory of the lost 20 years was a blank. She recalled starting her hike in 1984. Her next clear memory was waking up. She felt confused near the trail in 2004. However, under careful, non-hypnotic questioning, some fragments emerged. These were not coherent memories. They were more like fleeting impressions. They were unsettling and strange. She struggled to articulate them clearly. She spoke of intensely bright lights. These lights were not like sunlight. They were overwhelming and disorienting. She described them as being all around her. There was no discernible source for this illumination. The lights did not feel warm. They were cold and clinical. Another recurring image was that of a room. She described it as perfectly circular. The walls were smooth and seamless. There were no windows or doors visible. The color was a uniform, pale gray or white. She could not recall how she entered or left this space. There was no furniture. There were no discernible features. It felt sterile and unlike any place on Earth. Most peculiar were her descriptions of communication. She did not remember hearing spoken words. The scientific community was profoundly baffled by Sarah Miller's case. Leading biologists, physicists, and neurologists reviewed the findings. They could offer no satisfactory explanations. Her unchanged biology was the central enigma. How could time pass for the world but not for her? Some experts cautiously suggested possibilities. These ranged from unknown quantum effects to exotic biological states. None were supported by concrete evidence. Many theories were quickly dismissed. Ideas about previously unknown human hibernation states were considered. However, Her body showed no metabolic signs of such a state. Speculation about relativistic effects from extreme velocities also arose, yet there was no indication she had traveled. The lack of any physical evidence of an abduction or unusual environment during the 20 years was also puzzling. Every scientific avenue seemed to lead to a dead end. This only deepened the mystery surrounding her. Given the unprecedented nature of the case, government agencies took a keen interest. Details of Sarah Miller's condition became classified. The official reason was national security. It was also to protect Sarah from undue public attention. The study of her unique physiology continued. This research was conducted in secure, undisclosed locations. The potential implications of understanding her condition were immense.